Welcome to Conversations. Uh, Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Chabahar port. If you remember, yesterday I did a show on which I talked about the implications of the chaos in Iran and the crisis in Iran on India and its geopolitical prospects, its relations to Central Asia, its trade with Iran, the potential benefit to Pakistan diplomatically, the rise of China and its influence in the Gulf. So I discussed that in detail. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the possibility that India might have to abandon the use of the Chabahar port, in which, according to some reports, India has invested over $500 million already. According to some reports, the investment is close to $1 billion. We don't know what it is, but one thing is very clear, that it is the only way India has access to Afghanistan, to Central Asia, and to the international north-south whatever is called transportation corridor. This attempt to connect to the West through Iran, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe. So all of that is now completely cut off because Donald Trump has threatened to impose 25% additional tariffs on all countries who trade with Iran. And the main countries who continue to trade with Iran even now are China, India, UAE, and Turkey. These are the four biggest trading partners that Iran has at the moment. India is in the top 10. India has completely stopped buying Iranian oil. That was after the US imposed sanctions on Iran in 2019. Before that, India-Iran trade was about $15 billion. So let me quickly tell you how this was India's trade. So after 2021, it has completely gone down to it's about $1.5 billion, with India sending about $1.2 billion worth of goods, basically rice, tea, and pharmaceuticals to Iran. And I don't know what it imports because it can't import oil. It might be dried fruits or whatever. So the United States will have to do, the US will have to allow at least some pharma, because sending medicines to Iran or exporting medicines to Iran falls under humanitarian category. And so I think India might be able to retain negligible trade of a few $100 million of pharmaceuticals that are exported to Iran. But the bigger blow is that India has now essentially withdrawn from the Chabahar port. India was managing the Chabahar port, and India in 2024 signed a 10-year agreement with Iran to basically manage one of the Chabahar port. I think has two places where ships can dock, and one was being managed by an Indian company. So India still had to transfer about 120 million. So in September, when Donald Trump gave India a 6 months break, give me 5 minutes. So gave them a 6-month break. Then India immediately transferred now apparently $120 million to the Iranians, letting them use that money in whichever way they like. Either they can invest that in the port or they can use it elsewhere. But whatever it is, that is an interesting part. And so I think the reason why India has transferred that $120 million is, I think, in the hope that the Iranians will remember that. Iranians will build the port, continue to maintain the port with the money India has given, or at least they can use it whichever way they like. But India is hoping that in the near future, when Donald Trump is not the president and American foreign policy changes, India can go back and renew its use of Chabahar and its strategic significance. So I think that's a very good thing that India is doing, that it has not completely closed the chapter with Iran. India is waiting to get details from the US about the nature of its sanctions, because India-US trade is over $130 billion. India is not going to jeopardize $80 billion worth of exports and add another 25% to it. But India's access to the Chabahar port was fundamentally important, because it connected India to Central Asia. It connected India to Afghanistan. You know, India loves the radical Islamists who rule in the Taliban in Afghanistan. They are the only friends India has now in South Asia. So being cut off from Afghanistan is a big strategic blow, but I thought that India would continue to, remain mum on that, but I was surprised that India decided to essentially withdraw from Chabahar port and reduce its commitment to that. In the weakening of Iran, whatever happens in Iran, whether it's the regime change, then a pro-Israel, pro-US regime comes in. While the pro-Israel regime might help India, the pro-US may not. And if the regime does not fall and a weaker or a different kind of regime appears, it's going to hurt India, because US sanctions will then remain in place. And then India will neither be able to buy oil from there, nor will be able to import. India has promised to reduce buying oil from Russia, but perhaps Venezuela oil might be another alternative to India. But I just wanted to share this with you, that since I had made this analysis just last night, that Chabahar port was very important to India, and this entire crisis of Iran and the US sanctions on Iran are going to impact India. And like I said, they have definitely impacted India. So thank you for watching Conversation. If you have not already liked this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your socio-political network. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtada Khan. Take care.